My name is Tim, and I started up a new channel called The Camping Life with Tim. And it's something that kind of happened when my daughter and her family invited me to go to one of the state parks in our area to go hiking on one of the trails, kind of a day outing. And it was kind of interesting. I know I was definitely out of shape, walking the trail. The trail we walked on was 1.3 miles, and I would say I probably made it maybe a quarter of a mile, and I was already wore out. Definitely was out of shape for doing something like that. But it kind of brought back memories when I was a child, going out hiking in the woods, going out camping, and just enjoying nature, seeing the wildlife and everything. So basically, I kind of got hooked at it again, decided, I want to get back into doing that, especially the hiking, being 73 years old, why not, get out there and enjoy nature and hike around, get some exercise, and, enjoy life. So anyways, after that, like I say, I decided to start up a new channel other than my paranormal channel. But I've had people already ask, oh, you quitting paranormal? No, not really. Just not doing it quite as much because I've done it for over 45 years, traveling around all over the U.S., helping out families, going to different haunted locations. But, it's time for me to slow down a little bit on that line. Not to mention it's pretty expensive to go to places nowadays, so unless I got a group big enough to kind of justify the cost, it's just not going to do it as much. But, going on these parks, the cost is, real reasonable. Camping's real reasonable, and, enjoy that life. So that's one reason why I decided to start up a new channel. And hopefully you'll come and hit that subscribe button, become a fan and follower, and enjoy the videos that I will be putting out there. I want to talk a little bit about this park. It is Purtic Creek State Park here in Texas, and it's about 4 miles, 3-4 miles north of Eustis, Texas, on I believe it's 316. It's just a little park kind of out in the country, and it's a beautiful park, I can tell you that. The park, back in 1977, Texas Parks and Wildlife Department acquired land, from private owners, and U.S. Soil and Conservation Service built a dam, as a flood control to measure and improve Purtic Creek. It also, I guess it started running off water in the mid 1800s, and it's pretty much right now a good fishing place, because they do have a lot of fishing there. It is a real active and I guess a well-known or place for fishers to go, fishermen to go do their fishing. The park itself, it opened up in about around 1980, and it exists of 1,582 acres. I know that they say back before that time, the land was kind of occupied by the Wichita and Caddo Indians that kind of roamed around in that area. Now, I do have some videos that will be coming out. I already have one video that already has been released, and another one I believe will be released possibly at the same time this one is, or maybe just before. where I'm starting to go through the park and, basically do some videos on the campsites, some of the things, that you can do there, some of the trails, kind of give you a little idea about the park in case you want to come and check it out and go on one of the hiking trails, or who knows, maybe you want to come and camp out. Try to give you some of the information on, what I would recommend as good campsites. So those videos will be coming out. So there'll be several of them because it's kind of hard to, get as much information and show you some of the scenery and the landscape and the trails and, put out a lot of information in a short period of time. If I did it all in one video, you might say it would be a movie because it would be pretty long. So not to mention it would take me a long time to cover everything, especially when you walk on some of the trails, because they're anywhere from 8/10 of a mile to 2 miles, and there are several of them to walk on. So anyways, keep an eye out, for those. One thing that there was in one of my videos, I was talking about a lot of the parks. They have, I guess, basically a rule that, some of the trails are hiking and biking, and they have the hikers go one direction and the bikers go a different direction. Almost didn't get that word out, which I think is pretty cool, because if you're all going the same direction, they're possibly going to be coming up behind you. You may not know about it until the last minute. And we definitely don't want anybody getting hurt, especially if there's any children out there walking the trail with the parents. So in one of my videos I said the hikers go clockwise and the bikers go counterclockwise. Well, I had that wrong. It's the other way around. The bikes go clockwise and the hikers go counterclockwise. That way that when you run into them, they're coming at you, so you're going to see them have, time to kind of move off their side and let them by. Although that, the hikers are supposed to have the right of way, but, I think that they're moving along pretty good, in a pace, and you might say they're on a mission. So, I'll step off the side, allow them to go on by. Depending on what parks you go to, some of them are in a mountain type area, the piney woods, so you're going to have some hills going up and down. So they rate some of these trails as easy, moderate, and challenging. Purtic Creek is pretty much a moderate, or not a moderate, but an easy trails, because it's mostly flat land. But there are a couple places that you are going up a little bit of an incline and down a little bit of incline. Nothing major, just, there are a few spots that kind of go up and down. So keep that in mind. They've got some bridges that you'll cross over. Got some little areas that kind of challenging, where it's got roots from trees that are sticking out of the ground, so you're having to kind of step over those. Some rocks here and there, so kind of watch your footing as you're walking these trails. You don't want to be tripping. I do know the other day when I was on one of the trails, there was a root going across the ground, but the root was sticking up just a little bit above the ground, and it was enough that I caught my foot on it, and I thought, all right, it's trying to trip me, but it didn't succeed that time around. So please be careful, of where you walk. During the winter time, it's not too bad. Leaves are falling, on a lot of the trails, but they do have them pretty well marked, and the trails are pretty well cut out that you do know where you are going. As to some parks, it looks almost pretty much like the rest of the terrain around you, so you can get off path. So, but they usually do have those pretty well marked. It probably wouldn't be a bad idea if you'd carry one of the trail maps with you. That way, it might help out a little bit, especially when you come to a junction where more than one trail connects together. you can get a basic idea where you are and, decide on which trail you want to go on. You will, on a lot of these trails that you go on, you are going to come across some pretty interesting things. I know a lot of the parks were developed by the CCC, and they have a lot of structures that were built back, dating back in the 1930s, give or take, and a lot of those structures are still standing today. And the designs of them and the way they were built, along with other things that the park, has in them that the CCC has built, are kind of awesome to go check out. So, always look for CCC structures in a lot of these parks. Purtic Creek wasn't done by the CCC, but it does still have some unique things in there. Some of the trees are kind of awesome. It's just, I don't know, it's one of these places you really need to go, hike the trails, go see for yourself. Filming it, camera doesn't really justify the beauty of these parks if you've ever seen it with your own eyes. Not to mention, the majority of us, we live in the city life, around all the traffic and construction and noise, and it's almost like going to a different world when you go to one of these state parks. You're out away from all that. It's peaceful and quiet. You're hearing nature, the birds singing, getting to come across, wildlife. I'm not saying you're going to see it all the time when you're there, but there's always that chance you'll be walking one of the trails and you'll see a few deer. And it doesn't seem like a lot of animals in these parks are scared of humans. They're just kind of going about their own business. But I have seen some deer. I have seen not possums, but armadillos. I have seen raccoons. One thing I haven't noticed much in this park is any squirrels. So I don't know whether they're kind of hibernating, seeing that it's, here in December. But I'm sure they'll come out when the weather gets better. But, it's always nice to go out and, check out a lot of the different trees and the shrubbery around, the plant life and wildflowers, and all the, wildlife animals that are out there, whether it's, deer, raccoons, armadillos, possums, squirrels, even see butterflies, dragonflies. Around the lake, you're going to see frogs and, probably some lizards and, whatever nature has to offer. It's always great to get out there and kind of witness those things. Especially if you have children, they're probably going to be pretty amazed being able to see some wildlife out while you're in these parks. So, spend a day or 2 days, pack up the family or just come with a friend. You can even come by yourself. I enjoy going by myself. But, come out and check out these parks, walk on the trail. See what all you can see. It's great. I don't think there's any more peaceful, enjoyable thing to do than go to a park and walk these trails. Anyways, a lot of the upcoming videos, like I say, I'm going to be doing some on the different campsites, kind of giving you a review on them, what I think, which ones would be, a better campsite to try to get. Give you a little, view of some of the campsites. Same thing on the RV park loop, I guess you could call it. Some of those spaces, whether where you're parking your trailer is kind of level, so it'll be a little easier for you to level out your trailer. Some different things like that, kind of maybe help you out on deciding what you want to reserve, for when you come to visit the park. Of course, like I say, you'll have some videos on the trails as well. Try to show you some of the day use area, where the boat docks are, the fishing areas, the pavilion for anyone that might have a wedding or family reunion or private party. Give you some information there as well. Also, they have an area, a swimming area. And there'll be a lot of picnic tables with barbecue grills for everybody to come and enjoy the day, have a picnic or cook out while the kiddos go and swim. Plenty of restrooms, which they upkeep very well. They're clean. Also, there's a playground area for the kids, and they even have a boat rental, where you can rent a canoe or a kayak in most of these parks to go out. I do know that, if you are camping here, they do not permit you to get any of the dead wood or the trees that have fallen or the branches that have fallen for firewood at your campsite. They kind of prohibit that. So if you plan on having a fire, go ahead on plan on bringing some firewood with you. But they do have a little station there by the dam at one of the parking lots at the restroom where you can also buy wood. The entry, when you come into it there at the park headquarters, they do have a little, I guess you could call it a store there on the inside. They don't have a whole lot in there, but they do have some, I guess you could call it collector's items or gifts, as well as some fishing gear, walking sticks, some things to drink, where you get your maps, your park layout, when you get your sticker to come in. And if you don't have a pass, that's no problem. The entry fee into the park is $5, but if you do happen to have a park pass, which you can get that there if you plan on coming back to the parks quite often, or possibly want to go to one of the other parks close by. The pass is good for all Texas state parks, and it is $70 for the year. You can always get a second card added on there for, I believe it's $25 more. So you can get two cards, one for you, one for your spouse, one for another family member. But the second card that's issued has to be residing in the same home as the original card. Also on the camping for the RVs, it does not have sewage, so it's not full hookup, but it does have electric and water, and I know it's 20, 30 amp, and possibly there might be some 20, 30, and 50 amp. I'll have to do another video, get a little bit more details on that. They do have a dump station, so that way you can clean out your trailer before you leave. That way you're not having to carry that with you, that extra weight. And to reserve a camping spot there is $20 a night at Purtic Creek. Now they're going to vary at different parks, so keep that in mind. For primitive camping, which you'll see that in one of my videos, that's where you're having to carry everything back in and carry everything back out. And I ask that please, do not leave anything back in there, any trash. Bring it out with you. That way we can keep these parks looking good. And it's $10 a night to camp in there. You don't have any electricity, you don't have any water. There is a restroom close by. It doesn't have any lights or power to it. So if you're going into the restroom, you might want to bring your flashlight or some kind of light so you'll be able to see whether it's daytime or nighttime. Now they do have a solar light on the outside of the building that at nighttime it will light up, so you'll be able to see where it's at. You don't have to be kind of fumbling around in the dark. Anyways, I think that pretty much covers a lot of the information that I probably should have put this video out in the beginning, but like I say, this is a new channel and I'm just getting started at these videos, and this is my first park, so bear with me. Hopefully, you know, my videos will be a little bit more laid out like they need to be a little bit better organized, so to speak. So, hey, hit that subscribe button and notification bell. When my episodes come out, you'll be notified. You know, please share with others. You know, I like to see a lot of people come and enjoy these videos, and who knows, if I'm getting people to have a smile on their face, want to go to these parks to visit or even go camp out, spend a day or two, I've accomplished my mission. You know, I'm just going to be happy as can be, because I think this is one thing more people do need to do: get out and enjoy nature, get out and have fun, have some little peace and quiet, relax and enjoy life with the family. You know, so yeah, you know, share with others, enjoy my videos. You know, smash that like button for me. That way I know that, you know, everyone is checking out my videos and they are enjoying them. And I always like it if, you know, you see something or have any questions or just want to leave a comment, you know, yeah, hit that comment button. You know, talk to me. I always like interacting with people. It makes me feel like you're on the investigation with me, so that would be pretty awesome also. So anyways, I'm just going to get off here and get back out here on the trail, check out some more of this parks, and I am going to be going to a lot of different parks here in Texas this summer, and I hope you'll be on the trail with me. Let's go camping.